Imagine this. You awaken in a world where every decision you make, every whisper of desire and every impulse, is meticulously tracked, analyzed, and anticipated by unseen algorithms. It's a world familiar yet intensely foreign, teeming with the cacophony of countless digital voices that know you better, it seems, than you know yourself. Your morning routine is automated. Your smart home system suggests the perfect breakfast. Your navigation app tells you the optimal route. And your newsfeed curates information precisely tailored to your interests, fears, and dreams. Everything flows seamlessly, effortlessly, a testament to the wonders of technology. But beneath this polished surface lies a disquieting realization, a paradox that gnaws at the edges of your consciousness. How often have you paused to question the origins of your preferences? The music you listen to, the articles you read, the products you buy, how much of it springs from an authentic self, and how much is shaped by the invisible hands of predictive algorithms? The tension mounts as you discover that this meticulously crafted digital identity feels disturbingly alien, a stranger who shares your name but not your soul. Now, consider the implications of a world where the boundaries of individuality blur under the weight of relentless data collection. If every choice is predicted, do you truly choose? The comforting narrative of free will begins to waver, replaced by a chilling concept, determinism, but not of a natural kind, one that is constructed, pixel by pixel, code by code, feeding off the very essence of your existence. Is it mere coincidence that your deepest anxieties are assuaged by a perfectly timed advertisement, or is something more insidious at play? As you grapple with this complex web of influence, the quest for autonomy becomes entwined with an unsettling question. In a digital age, where your every gesture can be programmed and predicted, what becomes of free will? Like a series of carefully constructed dominoes, each action feels predetermined, yet cloaked in the illusion of spontaneity. This is where the existential weight of the situation truly presses down, an amorphous fog of doubt and unease. What are the costs of a life meticulously optimized by software? Is the sacrifice of nascent raw choice worth the polished convenience? And within the silence of that inquiry lies another query, more profound and disquieting. If autonomy fades to a ghost, isn't the self, a construct built upon countless myriad decisions, left senseless, dismantled? These questions hang in the air, taunting and elusive, as you stand on the precipice of an unsettling truth. To step forward is to confront a reality where free will is perhaps less about libertarian stories of individual choice and more about consciousness. Consciousness of the cages we build, bit by bit, data packet by data packet. Curiosity ignites the spark of potential revolution, a shift in thinking that's as thrilling as it is terrifying. A world defined not by the parameters set upon it, but by the shifting sands of what could be the reclamation of true agency. Reflect here, in this moment shaped by contradiction, where the natural order of choice and consequence is shrouded by the ubiquitous logic of digital determinism. Must we resign to this, or does a path exist, hidden beneath polished glass and sleek interface, leading to something more than mere consumption? Pause. Breathe. Feel the tremors of what is to come ripple through your core. Amongst the illusion of choice, will you awaken? As your pulse quickens with the promise of clarity, follow this thread through the haze into the heart of the questions that hold the keys to modern agency. There is more beneath this surface, more that demands to be unearthed, waiting in the unseen folds of psychological and philosophical inquiry. Answers are buried amid ancient musings and modern-day conundrums, echoing in the dim chambers of countless minds who dared to ask timeless questions. Imagine turning away from the daily feeds of relentless information and instead delving into the depths of the human psyche, where the roots of your beliefs have grown, sculpted by forces not wholly within your command. Carl Jung once spoke of the collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared experience and archetypes that shapes our perceptions and actions. Infiltrating this profound tapestry are the subtle, pervasive algorithms of today, freshly woven into our neural pathways, seeding preferences and molding behavior. The mind, ever seeking patterns, adapts to these artificial stimuli, crafting identities around digital reflections rather than authentic introspection. Nietzsche warned us of the dangers of conformity, the herd instinct that lies dormant in each of us, ready to engage when the weight of individuality feels burdensome. Today, more than ever, this instinct is fed by technology, creating a society comfortable with curated consensus. The digital age offers a unique paradox. It celebrates individualism while shepherding us into algorithmic caricatures. Artifice becomes indistinguishable from essence. The self, once defiant and fiercely independent, risks becoming a byproduct of market forces. Arthur Schopenhauer proposed that the man is free to do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. This insight echoes louder in an age where willpower is subtly influenced by external stimuli designed to trigger dopamine responses. As screens captivate our senses and virtual assistants cater to every whim, we must ponder, is this a victory of desire or a surrender of freedom, paved with the innocent allure of convenience? In a world dominated by digital dictation, Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism looms large. The emphasis on personal responsibility and the need to define oneself amidst a world devoid of inherent meaning strikes a chord. When you're confronted with a barrage of pre-selected choices masquerading as freedom, the authentic existential struggle becomes one of resisting pre-packaged identities and instead crafting a life of deliberate choice, a profound reclamation of being. But the weight of technology's pervasive pull extends beyond the abstract, permeating the very fabric of societal norms and behaviors. Aldous Huxley's warnings about a future suffocated by comfort appear eerily prophetic. Compulsion by pleasure, the soft tyranny of indulgence, has morphed into algorithmic nudges guiding emotional landscapes. The hidden problem is not a monolithic entity, but a grand tapestry woven from psychological and philosophical threads that insidiously dictate what we believe to be outward choices. Hidden beneath this intricate web is our own complicity, the desire for identities as multifaceted as they are predictable, built from the deconstruction of true choice. Viktor Frankl's haunting insight that the last human freedom is to choose one's attitude in any situation reverberates in this context, reminding us of the power wielded in how we interpret our digitally guided experiences. Yet understanding these roots isn't merely an academic exercise, it is the beginning of awareness, a call to introspection, a plea to awaken. The forces at play are not new, but their manifestation in an age of connectivity challenges the very essence of what freedom has traditionally meant. We perch on the precipice of a new phantasmagoria where psychological manipulation and philosophical discourse meet, a point demanding keen awareness and deliberate discernment. This is the cloudy battlefield for the soul, where agency and automation collide. The call is not merely to navigate, but to redefine the parameters by which we measure autonomy, crafting an identity lush with the consciousness of potential manipulation. Unravel these threads with intention, and the overlooked choices of each day become starkly visible. Forthcoming insights invite a deeper plunge into repercussions, beckoning beyond comprehension, urging an exploration into territories of unseen consequence. Such is the foundation laid. Now the exploration ventures into what truly lies beneath, the unforeseen realities silently sculpted by our digital dance. Imagine the world again, only this time see the intricate networks humming beneath the mundane, like veins coursing with algorithms, routing and rerouting the desires and decisions of society. Each click, like a drop of ink, bleeds into a larger narrative that is being written about the individual and the masses in tandem by hidden hands. The unseen consequences of this reality stretch far into the substrata of human experience, silent ripples that manifest in ways unobserved or misunderstood. Consider first the subtle shift in psychological landscapes. The dopamine labs of our everyday existence, the allure of notifications or alerts, entrench habits formed not out of necessity, but engineered reflexivity. The brain, an organ once considered the seat of free will, now maps inputs received passively through screens. Neurologists have identified how these influences can alter brain structures, reinforcing certain pathways while others, those less traveled by digital stimuli, atrophy in quiet resignation. Beyond the individual, society itself warps under the aegis of these unseen influences. Culture is no longer simply the sum of collective experiences but becomes a curated patchwork tailored by algorithms. Social media, lauded as a platform for connectivity, often becomes the stage upon which these consequences unfurl. Here, cognitive biases, once mere quirks of human behavior, are exploited. Confirmation biases and echo chambers thrive in these digital spaces, reinforcing division with algorithmic precision. The broader the chasm, the easier it is to direct the isolated fragments toward consumable outputs, neat and predictable. Yet, what of the economy of thought? Ideas, once revolutionary, reduced to commodified trends driven by virality rather than substance. Concepts that could ignite introspection are often relegated to shadows unless backed by the relentless machinations of digital popularity. This erosion of intellectual diversity is one of the clearest unseen consequences, a parody of freedom where the spectrum of thought dwindles even as information availability expands exponentially. The corporate domain, too, awakens to its role as both benefactor and slave to this brave new world. Marketing strategies dissect consumer predictability, leveraging the predictability of choices to maximize profits. Paradoxically, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Consumers, seeing options tailored to their perceived identity, unwittingly fulfill these crafted predictions, their perceptions of choice an elaborate facade. Like charmed rats in a maze, the end seems merely an algorithmic calculation away. On the socio-political frontier, the implications swirl like a dense fog. Democracies founded on the bedrock of informed and free choice face existential threats when preferences are not arrived at independently, but are guided by digital arbiters swaying elections and shaping ideologies. The very notion of freedom, a keystone of civic life, becomes an abstraction when measured in clicks and likes. What is perceived as autonomy devolves into mere participation in a grand experiment of behavioral economics. Economists have spoken of the long tail, where niches find life in the shadow of the mainstream. However, does the long tail thrive, or does it wither in solitude, tangible opportunities for ideas and innovation slipping through the cracks of algorithmic favor? This question reflects the specter of choices unseen, not absent but unnoticed, drowned in a sea of calculated distractions. These consequences extend beyond the mind, touching the very spirit of humanity. Consider Viktor Frankl's notion of finding meaning through choice. Within this digitized reality, meaning itself is subject to manipulations that prioritize engagement over enlightenment. The journey of self-discovery, once a personal odyssey, is now vulnerable to external design, its direction swayed by the subtle nudges of invisible curators. In this ever-spinning web, the urgency to break free becomes palpable. Yet, even the revelation of this complex maze is insufficient without the will to change trajectory. What now emerges is not merely the quest for true freedom, but the means by which to reclaim it, bringing into sharp relief the choices that define who we are and who we might become. With eyes opening to these unseen layers, the next revelation approaches, challenging us to dream of rebellion not as anarchy but as enlightenment, a transformative force. And here, the stage is set for those ready to face the storm's eye, yearning to discover liberation in places they were instructed never to. Look, envision yourself standing at the edge of a vast digital matrix, a web spun with threads of ones and zeros that entangle and ensnare. Yet within this intricate lattice lies the seed of rebellion, a truth that beckons with the promise of a new dawn. You sense it pulsating beneath the surface, a call to awaken and rip the veil from these man-made clouds. The rebellion begins not with grand gestures but with the subtle, almost imperceptible shifts in perception. It's a journey into radical introspection, examining each decision, each impulse, and tracing it back to its root. This process is akin to peeling back layers of an onion, each layer revealing the interwoven complexities of influence and manipulation, yet inching ever closer to the core, an authentic self, breathing beneath the digital smog. History provides kindling for this revolutionary fire. Recall the intellectual predecessors who dared to defy the constraints of their times: Galileo, who shifted the axis of understanding, or Socrates, whose relentless questioning forged pathways of wisdom beyond convention. These figures remind us that to rebel is to first cultivate the garden of the mind, nurturing critical thinking over passive acceptance. It's an approach built upon fearless inquiry and an unyielding thirst for truth, urging you to question the origins of your beliefs. Why this brand? Why this political stance? Why this lifestyle? Each query serves to dismantle the projected reality and expose the potential for authentic choice. It shifts focus from the narrative spun about you to the reality crafted by you, a formidable reimagining of identity. In this act of intellectual defiance, counterintuitive solutions may arise: silence in a world obsessed with noise, solitude within the teeming crowd, grounding oneself through analog experiences. The simple act of disconnecting becomes subversive, a bold rejection of the assumed need for constant connectivity. By stepping back, by refusing to feed the machine with incessant data, you reclaim what was lost: your attention, your awareness, your autonomy. Consider too the power in collective rebirth, communities uniting under shared values of deliberate consciousness and deeper understanding. In this gathering, innovation thrives unhindered by constraining algorithms, fostering a space where creativity and authenticity are the true currencies. It's a sanctuary where voices traditionally drowned out or distorted find resonance and strength, becoming architects of their destinies rather than mere participants in a predetermined play. Embrace the daring notion of deliberately fostering chaos within rigid expectations, challenging the status quo by choosing paths less encoded. Read the unpopular book, engage with unfamiliar viewpoints, revel in the discomfort of genuine learning. These actions develop resilience against the predictability craved by the algorithms of conformity. Leverage technology not as a master, but as a tool. Filters can be inverted, curating not the ease of familiar, but the difficulty of the unexplored. Harness it to amplify rather than to dilute, using its vast resources to broaden horizons rather than narrow them. The digital giants may have cast long shadows, but within these shadows lie seeds of opportunity, challenges that breed change and foster revolution. As this movement grows, embrace its momentum. It is a renaissance born of introspection rather than mere connectivity, a rediscovery of the depths of human potential beyond the grasp of algorithmic chains. Let this newfound clarity inspire a journey into realms previously dictated by unseen influences, and recognize the profound sensation that emanates from making choices based upon principles, not programming. This rebellion is a reclamation, redefining agency in an era that questions its very existence. In the quiet revolution of mind and spirit, the shattered pieces of illusion fall away, leaving behind something incandescent, a manifesto of new possibilities, unshackled and bristling with potential. As the storm subsides, as the curtain of digital haze pulls back, a new reality emerges, one where the echoes of true freedom resonate louder and truer than ever before. Embrace this path, for it leads toward a destination both ancient and nascent, a frontier awaiting the courageous and the curious. In this awakening lies the profound essence of the ultimate truth. The power to choose is, and always has been, yours alone. In preparation for the final revelation, gather these insights close, knowing the ultimate truth blossoms within reach, ready to redefine how reality unfurls around you. Imagine a moment, a frozen sliver of time, where the chaos of the digital world pauses, and in that stillness, clarity emerges like a dawn breaking over boundless horizons. What you perceive touches the very essence of being, an ultimate truth so profound it renders past struggles a mere prelude to the present unveiling. This final realization, the crux of 1,000 musings, reveals that free will is not a binary state claimed within a world of zeros and ones. Rather, it's the dynamic tapestry woven from awareness and choice, a testament to the unyielding human spirit. Beyond deterministic digital echoes, there lies an awareness so rich it transforms reaction into conscious action, embedding personal history within a future not yet written. This is the truth. Free will, in its truest form, cannot be granted or taken by any force, not by the algorithmic whisperers nor the market prophets. It is an evolving state of being, fostered by the recognition of one's potential to transcend, to act with intention amidst a translated reality. The agency that blooms from conscious choice brings with it a liberation so sublime it feels like stepping into the light of one's own becoming. The paradox resolved here lies in the acceptance of constraints as a part of the freedom narrative. Boundless liberty unchecked becomes latency, but informed, deliberate choices craft a path marked by purpose. Each constraint becomes a stepping stone, knowledge and self-awareness crafting a more profound freedom. Here is where the digital age offers its latent gift. The technology devised for connection fosters a greater understanding of the self and others across divides. The final veil parts to reveal that true autonomy lies not in opposing technology, but in assimilating its lessons and shaping it to reflect a human imago resilient and complex. Not unlike art, it becomes an extension of humanity's enduring quest for meaning, a digital canvas upon which timeless narratives are painted anew. And what of free will in a world calculated in digital breath? It thrives as a conscious resistance to surrender, as the resilient spirit moves adaptive through technological landscapes, choosing its incarnation anew. Among these revelations, technology's relentless rhythm now echoes with newfound symphony, an accompaniment to human trials and triumphs, rather than its conductor. The ultimate truth reveals an agency crystallized within awareness, once mere whispers now formidable. The roles of creator and audience switch fluidly, encouraging exploration and fostering dialogues that inspire growth. This evolution signals not the end, but the transformative beginning of human autonomy interlaced with the digital expanse. The realization transcends understanding, calling forth actions and the rebirth of intention. Here rests the pivotal moment, where responsibility for self and collective awareness coalesce, promising a tomorrow marked by intentionality and unity. The great epiphany: free will does not exist in isolation. It is nurtured through encounters with the altogether vast, experiential weaving of reality. Behold how past struggles glow brightly with context, as choices emerge sharper in relief against the shadows, urging further discovery, understanding, and renewal. And so, the narrative propels itself onward, challenging all who stand at this crossroads to craft a world of intentional depth and authentic breadth, one choice at a time. This is the empowerment. Embrace it, and see a world newly vibrant, etched with the brushstrokes of will and wonder, shaping a future forged not in fallacy, but in profound truth. The choice is, indeed, yours. Such is the promise of this profound awakening: to see, to be, to choose, always,